Hello, investors. It's Don Vandenbord, Chief Investment Officer with Revere Asset Management. Today is Tuesday, May 21st, 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, coming to you from St. Augustine Beach, Florida, with tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. Market state, we're in an uptrend since May 6th. Check the trend gauge over here. You can see the coveted 4 green arrows, meaning market leaders, plentiful and acting well, and all 5 of the major indexes trending above their short-term 21-day exponential moving average, medium-term 50-day moving average, and long-term 200-day moving average. So what happened today? 4th straight day of tight action, and by tight action, approximately 0.6% or of a daily range or less. Here's the market is waiting for the highly anticipated NVDA earnings report. NVIDIA really the driver of this AI hardware and software upgrade cycle. They report after hours on Wednesday. That's going to impact not only the indexes, but quite a few individual names in the space as well. Here are the numbers on the day. Open slightly negative on the indexes for the second straight day, put in a low within the first 5 minutes, trended higher, chopped around a bit, ended today with a positive bias. The 21 over 21 leaders list up a little better than 1/3%, 9 up and 12 down. The big 8, this is our 8 growth ETF composite. I'm sorry, the big 8 is the big 7 plus NVIDIA. Led by Tesla today, some news on their semi-truck. Pepsi apparently wanting to order quite a few of them. Big 8 up an average of 1.23% on the day. RG8, this is our 8 growth ETF composite, up about 0.2%. S&P 500 opened down 0.15, closed near the highs of the day, up 0.25%. Breadth wasn't there, however. RSP, the equal weighted it down just a tad. NASDAQ 100 opened down 0.4, recovered, finished green, up 0.2, equal weight down 0.1. Dow up 0.2, mid caps down 0.2, Russell 2000 small caps down 0.2, global 60/40 stock and bond up 0.08%. Our GROTECTION flagship portfolio up 0.16%. Some of those leaders that took us to the big outperformance yesterday with a bit of a pullback today. We'll take a look at the charts, but really what's important when something pulls back is it a normal pullback or is it abnormal? We didn't dislodge anything other than cutting TDD into earnings for tomorrow just to reduce risk. We'll hit the charts in a second for the portfolio. So here's the S&P 500. You can really see the tight range action after the gap up 5 sessions ago. Let's take a look at the 15-minute chart. It's very obvious here. So here's the gap up, and then really haven't made any progress, but trading in this tight, less than 1% range over the last 4 straight sessions. Markets can only do one of 3 things: trend lower, trend higher, or chop sideways, preparing for a trend up or a trend down. And consolidations should resolve in the direction of the primary trend, in this case, the primary trend being up. If it doesn't resolve that way, then that's a change in character for the market and you take appropriate action. That's probably going to be dictated by the reaction to the NVIDIA earnings report tomorrow. On to the NASDAQ 100, closing higher, all-time closing highs after breaking out of this nice flat base. Dow Jones Industrial Average up on the day, still above the 8-day exponential moving average, looking to get back above that 40,000 level, just one close above that before giving that up. Big round numbers like this, it's kind of typical that they provide some sort of psychological resistance. S&P 400 mid cap down on the day, bouncing at the 8-day exponential moving average, and the Russell 2000 small cap also down slightly on the day. You can see that's been consolidating for 5 days as well since that gap up. Those are the major indexes. Let's go to the VIX. VIX back down below 12. down 2.4% on the day. The tight range certainly signifying exactly what's going on with the market. The dollar closed flat today. How did that translate to the precious metals? Gold barely down on the day with an inside day. Normal rest here for gold. GDX down 0.83% after a big move up the last 2 days. An inside day there as well. An inside day is when the high and low are below and above the high and low of the prior day. And here's an inside day for silver as well, despite being up 1%. Bitcoin reached highs after hours, but overnight, but pulled back during the session, down 1.25%. Normal pullback after a big move up there yesterday. Looking to break out of this flat base to the upside. On to bonds, broad bond index BND up 0.21%, meaning yields down slightly across the board today on average. Here's TLT, the price up 0.52%, the yield TYX down on the day, and TNX, the 10-year, down on the day as well. That's our inter-asset correlation. Let's get to the tail of the tape. NVIDIA earnings, as I mentioned, really the big catalyst after the close tomorrow. Day count up 11 out of the last 14 days. Big moves in sectors today, not a whole lot, but regional banks outperformed, as well as staples and utilities. To the downside, software, Chinese internet stocks, builders, and oils. In-house, we bought FAS. This is a leveraged financials ETF, and we trimmed PDD. 3% gain. We cut it down from a 3% size to a 1.5% size into earnings tomorrow. Trim that half with a 3% gain. We'll see how the reaction to earnings is before the open tomorrow. Let's take a look. Well, all in all, that meant basically no change for our volatility adjusted beta. Bottom line, fourth straight day of tight action, coiling for a move. NVIDIA probably will be the catalyst. Let's take a look at FAS, and really we're making this buy, although the charts look pretty much the same, off of the underlying, which is XLF. Strong move over the last couple of weeks. Pullback yesterday, the pullback mainly because JP Morgan was down about 6% on the day, but we again took advantage of this 60-minute stochastic reset to get a low risk entry point there. You can see poking above 42 or below 42 yesterday, back above it today, and you get the stochastic cross. That gives a nice low risk entry. It also coincided right with that 42 area that was prior resistance, now acting as support. When you get a quick flush and a reclaim of it, that implies that that support level held, and it's a good level to trade against. Always keep an eye. We really are pretty fond of reducing our risk on entries using that 60-minute stochastic. All right, so let's take a look now at the portfolio. We're going to blast through this from high to low. First Solar. Remember, if it's green flagged, we own it, and we own most of these actually in the 21/21. This is our primary fishing area. When we narrow it down over the weekend, I'd say normally about 75 to 80% of our buys come from there. The rest come from something that just comes up out of the blue, like an earnings gap up, or from something that's in our universe list, meaning it just missed getting on the 21/21 list. So here's First Solar with some big strength and volume today, up 8% on the day. This is one that normally sells off into strength. We may, if this gaps up tomorrow, take some off into that strength as we're at the +3 ATR extension right now from the 21-day moving average. History shows when First Solar gets to that level, that it kind of acts as a resistance level, but we'll see. Constellation Brands, we own this, not brands, Constellation Energy, up 3.5%. Also in our portfolio, Nutanix continues to act well. Goldman Sachs continues to act well. There's FAS, which we added to the portfolio. Howmet, great acting aerospace stock. NVIDIA into earnings, acting tight over the last 5 days. Carrier Global. NVIDIA was actually down, gap down in the morning on a report that Amazon put their prior chip requests on hold and rolled it over to their new Blackwell chip. And there's been some chatter that NVIDIA may miss or disappoint in this earnings report because if Amazon was doing that, it may be that other companies are doing the same, but all that would be doing is deferring revenue into the future. So it's possible that when the headline hits, if the initial NVIDIA numbers were not that good, but they raised their going forward numbers, you may see some a flush and then a reclaim. There's all kind of possibilities, and there's the algos will be going on the headlines as well as the details on the report. So get out the way. There's some volatility bound to happen with NVIDIA. I say get out of the way, but we're not going to. We've got we'll go through our normal risk management process, entering earnings. Most accounts have between a 2 and 3% size. Some are larger from very big gains that we've had, long-term capital gains that we have, but we'll be reviewing everything. Here's Carrier up another up less than 1%, but up on the day. American Express, tight action. CrowdStrike, our biggest position. This gap down on a initial bad reaction to the Palo Alto earnings report. It gapped down 6%. Was down as much as 8% after hours yesterday. The 300 level and the 21 EMA held on that today, though, and it closed in the upper third of the range. So actually some positive action there. Palo Alto and CrowdStrike recovered from its gap down to finish positive. Transmedics continuing to trend higher. VRT, our second biggest holding, can't quite clear and get above, can't quite stay above that Livermore 100 level. Touched it again today. Abercrombie and Fitch would like to see this put in a little handle. It's got earnings in a week and a half. Pure Storage continuing to make higher highs. We own that. CCJ pulling back. AppLovin pulling back. VDX inside day. We already reviewed that. There's PDD, which we trimmed today. Freeport down, but an inside day today. ERX breaking the 50 and the 21-day moving average. 2 days down on energy now after looking like it had put in a low. We're still giving, this is still within our risk tolerance, but we want to see it reclaim that 70 level ASAP. Spotify, we're down on this after that move above that 302-ish resistance. We're still holding above 300, but gave that move up yesterday. Micron got a downgrade and recovered nicely from it, undercutting and reclaiming the 8-day exponential moving average. IBIT, we already showed that. And finally, Kava, the one in the portfolio down the most on the day, down 2.8%. Still normal action. Getting above that 80 level, pulling right back to the 8-day exponential moving average. That's the portfolio in the 21 over 21. And that's going to wrap it. As always, like to hear from you. If you're interested in becoming a client, the email's don@revereasset.com, or my partner Dan Stewart, dan@revereasset.com, or you can call 855 Real Wealth. That's 855-732-5932. Our flagship portfolio is named GROTECTION, as I described on IBD Live on Friday. Dual mandate: grow assets during uptrends, protect them during downtrends. Right now, we're in an uptrend. We're riding the wave as far as it'll take us. NVIDIA might have a lot to say about that after earnings on Wednesday. And with that, I'll wrap up the video for Tuesday, May 21st. This is Don Vandenbord with Revere Asset Management, telling it like it is. Thanks for listening, and have a great day.